Hello friends, welcome to the Leaf Heart Path. My name is Andrea Graham and I'll be your reader for today's Pick a Card Tarot reading. I did a Healing Messages from Your Past Self video a couple of months ago and the timing felt right to do a similar video, but this video is from your future self. We'll be tapping into energies of your future higher self and see what kinds of messages and advice that they have to share regarding various areas of your life and how you can step into your highest potential within each area or across the board. We'll be looking at career and work, creativity, hobbies and fun, love and relationships, spirituality and personal growth, interpersonal communication and how you present to the world, as well as manifesting. So we've got quite a few messages to come through today. As you can see here, we have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile 1 is going to be working with the Ostara Tarot and the Rust Belt Arcana today, and your pile is marked with an Agate. I don't know if you can see all the little striations and layers here. This is just beautiful. Pile 2 is going to be working with the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Darkwood Tarot. Your pile is marked with this fossil. And group 3, you are going to be working with the Light Seers Tarot and the Tarot of Curious Creatures, and this pile is topped with a citrine crystal. So friends, you may find that you are drawn to more than one pile, perhaps 2 piles, and perhaps all 3. Because we are working with many different areas of your life, you may find that you have messages in all of these piles. What resonates for you in an area of, say, relationships in pile 1 may not be the same pile that speaks to you about work. So I recommend checking out the pile that has the largest pull for you first, and then see if you are still drawn to either of the others. And with any general pick a card reading, please remember that not all messages and interpretations are going to resonate with you 100% of the time. Please take what does and leave the other messages for those who need them today. You can pause the video should you need a little more time to select your pile, and you can find timestamps and chapters listed in the description box and the video bar below. I will see you over in your video, friends. Hello, Group 1. If you picked this Agate and the Ostara Tarot and the Rust Belt Arcana, then welcome to your future higher self reading. Today we're going to be channeling messages from your future higher self, any advice that they want to give you from their perspective regarding various areas of your life, such as career and work, creativity, hobbies, fun, love and relationships, which is going to be including family and friends in addition to romance, if that applies to you, spirituality, personal growth, interpersonal communication and how you present to the world, and then also manifesting. We are tapping into the energies that are currently surrounding you. So this advice could be quite current or for the weeks, months, or in some cases the next year or so. Obviously, free will plays into this quite a bit, so you may find down the road that certain things come to pass and others will slide right by depending on your course of action. Okay, friends, let's jump into your reading. Your future higher self anchor card is the Judge. So, big Libra vibes here. This energy feels quite balanced to me. It feels self-assured. There is a distinct lack of extra emotional energy here, but this isn't clinical and it isn't cold. There's a warmth with some detachment from anything that's too frenetic or too frantic. It's very simple. It feels calm. Now, our higher selves can come across quite differently than who we feel we are on the daily. And this particular higher soul feels quite lived and quite experienced, like they have seen enough highs and lows to know where the middle is, and it's from that space that they're rooted. And I feel like they're the one who is offering this hand here, stretching it out, offering it back to you across time. This is your anchor to your higher self in the future. And the messages that they offer you today reflect this extension. They are giving you a possible roadmap or possible ways to integrate this calm feeling into yourself, to become more like them, to become more like this future higher self, to integrate that calmness and that sense of centeredness that they have and pull that to yourself. Okay, so let's see where this leads us. We're going to lay out our cards. We're just going to go lay them out as we are reading each section, so I'm not going to put them all out at once. Hopefully we have enough room here. We're doing 6 categories, and each category has a clarifying card or an action or a movement card that'll provide just a little bit more information. We're going to begin with our first section, which is on career and work, and we're going to be starting with the Knight of Swords here. So Knight of Swords. And also the 3 of Pentacles, recognition of skill. Okay. So to me, what I'm seeing here is your future higher self is linking into this idea of anxiety or worry or concerns or feeling boxed in regards to your career or your work. And for some of you, I am getting a distinct picture of feeling like the walls are pushing in on you. And for others, it's like this panther here. And I mean, animal friends, you can help me out. Sometimes I get the big cats wrong, but I'm going to call it a panther. It's like you are them. You are literally feeling like you're treed and you can't see a way out. Oh man. And that's pulling me to Queen and that song I Want It All, where Freddie Mercury sings, can't see a way out. So there's this trapped feeling here, or one of almost like a paralysis. I want to say being unable to make a decision or just not seeing it, or feeling like you are stuck in more of the same. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm staying with my friends and one of the dogs is drinking water in the other room and it's so loud. They were spending good time outside in the sunshine in the garden. All right. So back to this. Your future higher self may be hinting at this idea of thinking bigger here with this 3 of Pentacles. That also makes me think of teamwork. And of course, I love this keyword here, recognition of skill. That would be a dog who's trying to get in right now. Recognition of your skills. So perhaps seeing beyond the limitations that you have imposed on yourself. Sometimes we go into something thinking that we are sticking in one track. And yet there are many tracks and many options, group 1. And I'm seeing that you can fluff up your feathers a little bit, pump those wings, and take flight to gain a bigger perspective of this particular sector, the career and work, and this anxiety we're talking about. I get the feeling that in the future, when you look back on this, many of these feelings are going to be forgotten. It's not one of those things that you're looking back, 6 months from now, you still might get a little bit, but, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a lot of it's going to be forgotten. It's going to feel like just a blip in the road, a bump in the road that you might experience normally. Not something that it's going to be impacting you long term. And going back to this 3 of Pentacles, to me this is also about knowing your worth. Seeing it, and perhaps you will wind up linking into something. I've got a spider here. Thinking about webs, linking into something outside of yourself that's going to make things much lighter and much easier. This is a generative energy. It's not an energy of pulling back or stuckness, of lack. This could be a collaboration with other people, a coming together that's going to really superpower your work. It's like the panther, I think. The panther on this card is seeing past the ring of people here surrounding it with the swords and easily leaps over them to meet up with other kindred spirits. Suddenly the obstacle that's there in the path, their path wasn't as big as it once seemed. There feels like an easy flow beyond this, and it feels like a lot of it is a matter of perspective. So I think the advice here from the judge, from your future higher self, is just to think a bit bigger. If you find yourself stuck, if you find yourself anxious right now, You can ask, do you have to be settled into one track? Can you be open to new ideas or to alternative paths? And where can you and where do you need to value yourself a bit more? How can you recognize your own talents? I'm seeing like a mirror. You need to be able to see what's going on the inside when you're looking in that mirror. And perhaps that can be achieved. Something that you might do is make a list of all the things you've achieved in terms of career, work, and personal growth or communication, anything related to this, perhaps recently or the last 6 months or year. You know, what have you learned? Where have you come from? Where did you begin? And so it might be further back for some of you. I feel like there is a lot, group 1, for you to be proud of that you're not quite seeing. And keep in mind too, there may be an opportunity to change tracks or to collaborate with someone or with a group if it isn't something that you would ordinarily do. So keep an open mind, because your future higher self is making me feel like there is a beautiful growth opportunity here for you and peace along with it. Okay, we're going to hop into hobbies and fun. Let's look at your cards here for that. Oh, cute. So we have the 7 of Pentacles. I love this card. The little raccoons. It's so cute. And 2 of Wands, choice. Beautiful. Okay. Just looking at these little raccoons and all the pentacles here. Group 1, I feel like you're the type of person who has a lot of options when it comes to hobbies and ways to amuse yourselves. There may be a very lighthearted quality to you when you're feeling good, when you're in the zone. Yeah, just with the sheer number of pentacles that we have here and all these raccoons. There's so many cute little raccoon babies here in the tree, and it's also, though, giving me a feeling of needing to be a bit frugal, perhaps. Especially with this deck's idea of the 2 of Wands representing choice. And this frugality might be about money or tangible things, but it also could be, I'm thinking about your time. You know, how are you spending your time? Are you doing things with your time that provide a sense of play and fun and creativity because you have that in you? Are you allowing yourself the outlet you need to get there? Your future higher self is highlighting a need to take stock and either keep an eye on financial expenditures here or to watch how you are spending your time so that you are getting the true pleasure that you need. Or this could be the thought that you are a very multi-talented and enthusiastic person and you have many options out there for blowing off steam or for cultivating hobbies. You might, have your finger in all the pots a little bit. If this resonates with you, that you've got a lot going on, you might be being encouraged to prune a little bit. And I don't see that as a bad thing. Focusing a little bit more, really honing in what brings you pleasure right now. Go with that and cultivate that area a little more than perhaps say, binge watching your guilty pleasure TV shows. Like, there's a time and place for that. That's fun. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that from time to time. But if you're spending much of your time doing that, then your soul isn't getting the creative outlet it needs, and you aren't able to express yourself in a way that is deeply satisfying. So I think your future higher self here, group 1, is asking you to look at this a little more deeply. What brings you joy? What brings you satisfaction? Is there a skill you want to cultivate to apply to something down the road? Do you want to try to communicate with others a bit more or to build up your relationships, for example? You have choices, group 1, but it's up to you how you choose to spend your free time, your hobby time, your creative time, your fun time. Above all else, you're being pushed to hone in on something or a couple of somethings that just make your soul sing, that provide that pleasure. All right, we're going to look at the love and relationships sector, and I'm going to slide the judge over here for now because I think we're going to run out of room. We keep going. So we have, for love and relationships, the Knight of Swords, and the World. I love this version of that card. All right. Scooch over here for now. We have the Knight of Swords and the World card. So if you feel like within your love life, within communication and your relationships, that you've been fighting an uphill battle with communication, if you feel like things are a bit forced, or you worry that you are coming on a bit too strong, or even if you feel like everything is hard right now, your future higher self is indicating there will be fulfillment and there will be relaxation in the future. That's something that's there. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like an exhalation. Things are not going to be quite so heavy or cold or hard. I do feel like this is related to personal growth, which is the next area we were going to look at. So I do want to actually just pop over into that grouping pretty quickly to see what we can link back to this. I think we're going to be revisiting this because sometimes there's just a shift and a softening that happens naturally with time. But I think that there are some inner changes that are happening that are going to be creating an outer abundance within the relationship area. So I'm going to actually hop over into spirituality and personal growth next, and then we'll see how that ties into what's happening here. Yeah, we have the Empress. And the Seer of Pentacles. So, yeah, there's a big glow up that's happening here, I think. And actually, I want to look at this quote. This is Ursula Goodenough. I think that's how we say the name. Looks like it says good enough. It says, "Death is the price paid to have trees and clams and birds and grasshoppers, and death is the price paid to have human consciousness, to be aware of all that shimmering awareness and all that love." Wow, that gives me goosebumps. Right, okay. So this is to me about divinity. There's divinity in all things, present in life, present in death. And this almost feels like a spiritual awakening or a shift for you, and maybe one that you weren't actively seeking. Perhaps it came about as the result of doing some inner work, personal work, and suddenly the foundation that you built your home upon and your castle upon, it shifts, and so does the way in which you view not just your world, but the world. So I think here things are going to be easier, and there's more of an interdependence and a connectedness to all things. For you, you are no longer separate and fighting as an individual like we were here. But you're now of the world. You're not just visiting it. This feels like a visitor coming in, an invader almost, and this is integration. It's like making a choice to be more integrated, which creates this huge shift in your relationships with others and the, intrapersonal, that relationship with yourself, how you view yourself. And I think this Empress card is just a beautiful indication of the new way that you glow. Your connectedness. And this may also have to do with how you view yourself, how you view your body for some of you, your sexuality for some of you. That might be something that you're addressing right now. There feels to be a radical self-acceptance here, which just causes this cascade of changes across many different facets of your life. This may be something you're currently aware of or not. And whatever this change is, you're being encouraged to run with it and to embrace it wildly. Group 1. Wildly. This is a death to the old ego habits and patterns. And it will create such beauty in your life beyond what you can dream of. And in this idea, I can sense a little smile coming through from your future higher self, this judge. And it to me, no wonder that they feel so balanced, because they are you. They have been through this magical transformation, and this is the path to an almost enlightened and free way of being. I am blown away, Group 1. Wow. Okay, so we have a couple other little areas to look at. We're going to go into interpersonal communication and how you present to the world. So, Nine of Cups. Lovely. Oop, doggos are barking. And the King of Wands. Beautiful. Okay, so I have to say, group one, a lot of this energy feels like it's being created at the time of this transformative Seer of Pentacles and Empress energy, the shift here. But some of you may already be sitting in the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, and the King of Wands shows tremendous creative and manifesting power. This is the way you shine outward toward other people. And it could be that others see you as incredibly blessed, despite any hardships that, you know, you've been through. They may also view you as someone who can help make them a little stronger in their wish fulfillment. You might be able to help them make their dreams come true. And so they see that light around you. Oh, that's somebody I want to get to know a little bit better. So your future higher self is saying that you appear as this leader, you know, or a muse, or a teacher and a guide for some people. There's a whimsical quality to you, and yet you are also quite grounded. And none of this feels forced or tight like the Knight of Swords is. I really do feel this must be coming from a post-Seer and Empress timeline, or from those times where you are really relaxed. And this is when you really do shine outward to others. And your future higher self is saying it doesn't have to be just certain points on a timeline. It can be you at any point. It's just a matter of shifting into the energy and already being there in feeling, and the rest will fall into place. Yeah, it feels very intuitive and very natural. It's a natural step forward. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to hop into manifesting. So our final two cards are the, oh perfect, the Knight of Wands. If that doesn't say manifesting, I don't know what does. And the Seer of Swords. Super, okay. All right, you clearly have manifesting mojo here, group one. Yeah, it's a matter of not cutting yourself off at the knees, which is what I typically think of with this card, you know, before you've allowed something to gain traction. So don't overthink, don't get too far into the weeds of introspection. You know, it goes back into this Knight of Cups wish fulfillment energy, sitting with the end result of a feeling. Like you already have what it is you're seeking. And this Candida goose here. We just want to let it take flight. Let it go. Don't stop it. Don't hold it back. Don't overthink. Don't stop something from blooming before it has the chance to show off in all its glory. That's pretty simple and simplistic, but that is the heart of the matter. Don't be too hasty in cutting things off before they've had the chance to reach fruition. That seems to be, I think, kind of the knee-jerk reaction that might happen for some of you when it goes to manifesting, but you have it. You have power here. There's a lot of latent power here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we need to say about that. So group one, I love this. It's a super beautiful message, and I'm really excited for you. I would love to know what it is that you've got cooking, what you have going on. So let us know that you're part of the group one crew by posting, let's do a fire emoji. I'm seeing all that red right there. We'd love to hear more about your journey and what resonates here. If you felt this video was entertaining or beneficial, please give it a thumbs up and share with any family or friends who you feel may benefit from this. And as always, thank you so much for being here with us today, and I hold you in gratitude and love. Group one, it was so nice to see you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends. Hello, group two. If you picked the Fossil and the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Darkwood Tarot, then welcome to your reading. Today we are channeling messages from your future higher self. So this is going to involve any advice that they want to give you from their perspective regarding various areas of your life, such as career and work, creativity and hobbies and fun, love and relationships, and that can include family and friends in addition to romance. We've got spirituality and personal growth, and also interpersonal communication, how you present to the world, and finally, manifesting. We are tapping into the energies that are currently surrounding you. So this advice could be quite current now, or it might be for the weeks, months, or in some cases the next year or so. Obviously, free will plays into this quite a bit, so you may find that down the road, certain things do come to pass and others will slide right by depending on your course of action. All right, friends, let's jump into your reading. Okay, so your future self anchor card, your future higher self anchor card, is the unseen. Okay, that says a lot already. So this card feels very calm, very reserved, removed, elevated, and it exists in a state of purity and wisdom. This definitely has a vibe of you being gently guided and watched from across time and space. There is zero judgment here. The energy feels more hands-off, I think, than the first groups did. Yeah. It's a little nebulous almost, just this little cloud. And there's an energy about peeling back layers and revealing what's possible. The dominant feeling I'm anchoring into is one of acceptance. So, I do see what else. I do want to see what else comes through with your cards here. So we're going to pop into that next. We're going to begin with the category of career and work, and it's going to bring us the Empress. And the Tower. Okay, interesting. So, group 2, your future higher self, I think, is making reference to changes within your work or career. Perhaps the trajectory has changed. Perhaps you have completely dismantled what it is that you thought you wanted to do and are embarking on a journey that brings you much more peace, that gets you more in touch with who you are, to your very root. And for a portion of you, this may have actually already happened. Perhaps there was a resignation, a shakeup at work, positions changing, and I'm even getting for some of you who are involved in schooling that you may have totally changed your goal, your path, your major, a trade. Some of you may have left school altogether, and that is actually really standing out to me as I'm seeing this tower as a symbol of traditional learning or schooling, and the idea of it has been dismantled and destroyed by lightning, by an idea. And for others of you, this may just be a flash in the night sky, an idea that hasn't happened yet. You may be getting glimpses and feelings that something needs to shift, that something needs to change. And this unseen higher future self is letting you know that you aren't imagining that. This is something that you can move toward and explore safely. There's definitely more for you in the future. More satisfaction, more happiness, more contentedness, whether you've made steps or not in this direction. And if this doesn't feel like you may want to go back and check another pile for the career and work messages, because this is definitely that feeling of wanting more for yourself, knowing it's out there and then going for it. Also, this could be a nod to perhaps you holding yourself back and not realizing yet. So that could be another layer to it. Perhaps having your eye on some other kind of job or dream occupation even, but the hand on your shoulder holding you back from moving forward, it doesn't belong to anyone else other than yourself. So what I'd like to do is check out some of these other areas and see if that's a theme that's popping up across them. So we're going to look at hobbies and fun and see what comes through here. Yeah, okay. We have the Four of Pentacles. That makes sense. We've got a little restrictive energy there. Yeah, and the Star. Wow. So what's coming through here is that you may be spending more time working and grinding away than or having anxiety about it, actually, for some of you, then leaning into the magic of fun in your life. There is a gentle guidance here that you could be giving yourself a little grace and a little room to play more. Spend some time asking yourself, what do I really want to do here? What can I give to myself that is in alignment with my highest self? And it could be that your hobbies and work are so closely intertwined, as they are for a lot of people, that you don't always come up for breathing room. That can really happen easily for a lot of people. If your hobby or your passion is your occupation, the newsflash is here that you need to give yourself a break, group 2. And for others of you, maybe you aren't certain what it is that you really enjoy doing, and it's time to sit and reflect on that. What do you like? What do you enjoy doing? Is there something that you'd like to try that you've never given yourself permission to? This ties back into this idea of holding yourself back. There's this clenching or feeling of restriction here, and perhaps even a need to control a little bit. And you're being told that it is okay to unwind and relax. The advice here from your future higher self is to dig into what makes you tick and roll with it. Enjoy life. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 4 of your cards here are major arcana. So this is a big theme for you, and your future higher self is being so accepting and so encouraging that there's zero pressure for you to do this. It's almost like they're holding this mirror up for you to look into, and while there may be a hand on the shoulder, there isn't any pushing or forcing. This is all meant to be on your terms, group 2. They're just ready and waiting for you when you're ready to meet them. No pressure. Okay, love and relationships. Again, this can be about friendships, family, any type of relationship that you have, relationships with colleagues, that kind of thing. So we have, the Emperor in reverse. Another major arcana. Oh, stop it. And the Empress. Yet again, more major arcana. Okay. So, the Emperor and the Empress are counterparts representing the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. And this is also the second time that the Empress has made an appearance here in your reading. So you have this card 2 times. There may be an aspect to this energy that you are working on integrating into yourself right now, and I do feel a very strong pull to her. Now again, it could be having to do with family, it could be having to do with fertility, it could be having to do with creativity or beauty or receptivity, how you see yourself within the divine feminine role. You don't have to be female to think about these energies that we're talking about. It's less about gender, it's more about the energy. What does that look like for you? What does this energy look like for you? And also, this can be a nod to your manifesting abilities. You may be manifesting with this creative powerhouse energy. So that brings me to this duality that we have going on here with the Emperor. The Emperor is divine masculine. It's energy that is to do with power and authority and leadership. Fatherhood, stability, safety, security. In this instance, it's reversed, which makes me feel like this is an area in life that maybe you're not feeling as secure about. So in this category, we are likely looking at your relationship with yourself. How in balance are these two energies of the Emperor and the Empress within you? Are you comfortable in expressing them both? Or is one pushing more? Or is one pulling away more? Who needs more attention? Are you pushing aspects of one away or trying to control the way that they show up in your life? I want to say that for the majority of you that there's this energy of wanting to smother the Emperor somewhat, and that's not going to be for everybody. For others, you may be wanting to step into the Empress energy badly. She is here twice. And so you're over-identifying or operating in kind of a hyper-vigilant or maybe even domineering way from the Emperor's energy, needing more of this, wanting to control how this is showing up. Regardless of what's happening here on this teeter-totter, when we're out of balance, it's going to impact the way in which we show up in the world, how we interact with others, our family members, our coworkers, our friends, colleagues, lovers. We may find ourselves feeling like we're playing roles or a game, putting on airs, a facade, wearing masks to navigate the social world. We may feel like imposters, that we aren't sitting in sovereignty, or we're not in touch with our truth or with ourselves. In short, we don't feel settled. There's an uneasiness within some of our actions and interactions which can leave us off kilter and wondering, why am I so different? Why is this so hard? And your future higher self is just emphasizing that your relationship with yourself may be a good starting point to investigate all relationships. Is there balance? Is there authenticity? How are you showing up to meet your core human needs or your personality needs? How are you filling up your own bucket each day? How do you show yourself self-love in every action and every decision that you make on the daily? It can be the smallest things too. And some of these questions may be enough to start digging in. And if this message hits you at a time when you're feeling a little more tender and you're not ready to explore, just know that's okay. That's completely fine. Sometimes it's just the knowledge there's something to look at when we're ready and we have safety and support in place. I do always recommend speaking to a counselor, a therapist, a trusted friend, or a life coach when possible, so you have that person that you can go to. And finally, for some of you watching, this can also be that you're feeling fairly solid in yourself. You may be in your divine feminine or empress energy, but you may feel like you're lacking an equal partner. You may be trying to manifest someone or working on yourself, but you're not seeing this emperor or this divine counterpart yet. Or maybe you're doing some solid self-work, but perhaps your current partner just isn't keeping up. They're not with you at the moment. And that's okay. Your future higher self is reminding you that things are unfolding as they will, and to focus on what you can right now. The more in alignment you are with you, the more you peel away layers of ego, the more high vibrational people you will start to attract. And things will unfold in a beautiful way, whether that is meeting someone new, or perhaps your changes create the changes you need within your current relationship. So what was once upside down is now right side up. There may be a little message in the manifesting section about this, so we'll have to revisit that as well. That won't be for everybody, but I'd be curious about that. Okay, we're going to pop into now the spirituality and personal growth. I feel like a lot of this touched on personal growth already, but we'll see if there's anything else to add here. Yeah, 8 of Cups. Temperance, another major arcana. Folks, who are you? Wow. Actually, here, you've only had 2 cards out of all of these 8 that are not majors. This energy is huge. I do feel like this personal growth section is the key to all the other facets we've discussed this far. Your progress in all these other areas is going to be hinging on your own personal and spiritual growth here. So, to me, with the 8 of Cups, this shows you making a conscious decision to leave things behind that no longer serve you. And it will be entirely dependent on you watching this as to what those things are. Maybe it's a crappy relationship, it's an old job, it's maybe attitudes about yourself that aren't always the kindest. Maybe you're working on trying to see others with a lens of flexibility and with more love. This is all about personal growth. And Temperance is a card of pause, a breath, and a healing inhale on your journey. I see this as moving from needed breaths and living for the pauses instead of leading into life and recognizing these pauses and breaks as a necessary part of the whole, but just that, as part of it. I'm thinking of perhaps when you're engaged in yoga, you're learning yoga, for example, maybe you're just starting out. And some poses might be so difficult to start with. Your muscles are trembling and you're shaking and you're sweating, and then you get those breaks. You get that release. Maybe it's from flowing into an easier pose or taking a rest down in child's pose, for example, before you're on to the next thing. However, eventually you get stronger and your practice is as much about the sweaty, trembling moments and the flow as it is about those breaks, because you need all of it to make the whole, to get the benefits. So I see your approach to life and living is shifting here. Like this idea with yoga. Instead of pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion and walling up for protection, or working and sweating and trembling through your week while you wait with breathless anticipation for the weekends, you learn to breathe through everything so there's more of a balance. Big things aren't quite so big anymore. Whether good or bad. You start to see things in more of a neutral light, not as good or bad, and you live and breathe from the space of neutrality. You're more calm, you're less reactive, and you're a lot happier, group 2. This feels like you becoming more like the unseen, future higher self. You are walking away from the way you used to be and becoming this ever-changing and evolving you. And that is truly beautiful, group 2, because the world needs more people like you in it. All right, we have 2 more groups to look at. We're going to look at interpersonal communication and how you present to the world at large, how people are kind of seeing you. 3 of Cups. And the 2 of Wands. This could be present energy. It could be current, but it really actually does feel like the future to me. It's like a glow up. And with this 3 of Cups here, you do appear to be incredibly others oriented while having an eye on your own growth. You are collaborative, you're magnetic, and I think people generally enjoy being around you. Even if you identify as introverted or you feel like you're generally walled off, this growth that we just discussed here in the relationship section is just spilling over big time into all the other areas of life and the areas that we've discussed, and particularly interpersonal communication and how other people see you and are drawn to you. You look good at work. People want to work with you. You likely have more friends, or you reach a wider audience than you do right now. You're spending time with higher vibe people, individuals who are more like you as you evolve and shift. I see nothing but incredibly positive things moving forward for you. Yeah. I think you're going to see too you have more choices. Okay. Finally, we're going to look at manifesting. We have the 6 of Pentacles. And the Knight of Wands. Beautiful. So, I think again, we were just talking about this teeter-totter over here. Balance is going to be the key. Making sure when you're manifesting, you aren't hyper-focusing on one outcome, but allowing things to come to you as they're meant to. That's pulling me back again to this kind of 4 of Pentacles clenching energy that we spoke about, clinging onto a particular idea or a particular outcome, or just being out of balance with some areas of your life so that everything's a bit out of whack. And this is where you take your future higher self, the unseen, and their eagle's eye view, the calm detachment we've been talking about, and this may help shift things into a better balance for you. Getting into balance may mean manifested outcomes don't always look the way that you might expect, group 2, or people may be a bit different than you anticipate, but the outcome is there nevertheless. Because I see you stepping into that Knight of Wands energy. And you're doing so from a point of balance forward. And because of that, things are moving quickly and beautifully, and I think your manifestations are going to be taking shape more rapidly and with an ease that you likely have not experienced before, because maybe we're sitting more in this particular energy. So big, big changes coming here. This is a beautiful message, group 2. It was a little more than I was anticipating, but the overall message is just incredible, and I am super excited for you. So I would love to know what it is that you've got going on right now. If you're comfortable, let us know you're part of the group 2 crew by posting, let's do an eye emoji in the comment box below. And we'd love to hear more about your journey and what resonates here. And if you felt this video was entertaining or beneficial, please give it a thumbs up and share with any family or friends who you feel may benefit from this. And as always, thank you for being here with us today. I hold you with gratitude and love, group 2. It was so nice to see you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends. Hello, group 3. If you picked the Citrine and the Lightseers Tarot and the Tarot of Curious Creatures, then welcome to your reading. Today we are channeling messages from your future higher self. Any advice that they want to give you from their perspective regarding various areas of your life, such as career and work, creativity, hobbies and fun, love and relationships, which can include family and friends, in addition to romance and spirituality, personal growth, finally interpersonal communication, and in general how you present to the world, and finally manifesting. So what we're going to be doing is tapping into the energies that are currently surrounding you. So this advice could be quite current, or it might also apply to the upcoming weeks, months, or in some cases in the next year or so. And obviously free will is going to be playing into this quite a bit. So you may find that down the road certain things come to pass while others are going to slide right by, just depending on your course of action. All right, we're going to jump right into your reading. So we are going to begin with your future self card, and this anchor card is, the Bardo. Kind of looks like an eyeball in the middle there, which we also had an eye in the last one, which is really interesting. So if you were drawn to that pile, you maybe want to check that out as well. All right, the eyes have it, group 3. So this is an anchor space of otherworldliness. It is possible some of you in this group are mediums, and for some of you, you actually may not recognize that aspect of yourself yet. And for others, you may already be quite gifted in this or your intuition. You might be rather psychic. You identify as such. You operate from a space of expansive creativity for some of you. Open sacral chakra is coming through, and then also I'm being brought to talk about the third eye as well as the crown chakra. This is kind of interesting because this higher self kind of energy did not come through before like this. And again, because this is future higher self talking, these energies coming through could be future energies or areas you wind up developing down the road. That doesn't mean that you might identify with them right now. I'm also getting members of this group are good listeners, so some of you would make lovely counselors or therapists. What is ultimately coming through, though, for this group is this idea of acceptance. I almost see the blue and green colors here within the eye as the colors on a peacock's tail. And to me, that's a message of be accepting of your gifts, your talents, and who you are, because you shine, group 3. You are totally unique, and there is nobody out there quite like you. And you grounding your gifts and talents into the world is part of your soul's unique expression. It's something that you're meant to do. And whether that's mediumship, whether that's intuitive abilities, whether it's love and healing and listening, whether it's creativity and art or music, whatever it is that makes you unique. Cooking, I'm supposed to say cooking for some of you, you are meant to share it with others. And your future higher self is encouraging you to do so. This does feel like the fast track to self-acceptance, and if this is something you've been struggling with recently, then you are in the right place, definitely. I feel like I've got to bring that back over. I will say that this future higher self feels very close in comparison to the first two groups. Much closer to you in time. It's like it's just under the surface. It's waiting to erupt or to break through. Okay, so we're going to see where this is leading us. We're going to lay out our other cards. We've again got those 6 categories, and each category's got a clarifying card, or it's got some kind of movement or action card, or it's just an informational card to give us a little more something to work with. We're going to start with looking at your career and then your work. And so what we have here is the Ten of Wands, and the King of Swords. Interesting. Okay, so your future higher self is talking about moving from a place of work, and work, doing heavy lifting and lifting more to be able to lay some of these burdens down and exchange this burnout and a fast pace for something more cushy and a place where you can make decisions from a higher perspective, such as the King of Swords might. The experience of working so much may have to do with the trajectory that you're currently on. Perhaps you've just started something new, or you've begun a new career, or you're in a position where you are currently doing a lot of work and it's difficult to see an end in sight. If we ground this into your future higher self's energies, this could be speaking of making time where possible to be creative, or to ensure that you're expressing yourself entirely without any masking where possible. To remain as authentic as possible and as close to your inner being and self across all areas of your life. You know, sometimes we mask ourselves to better fit into groups when we're anxious or uncertain. Sometimes we have to. And this speaks to the need to have all of ourselves revealed. It's almost like the Sun card for me. Maybe that's why I brought this back over. That citrine has got that sunshiny yellow color to it. Transparency feels important. Authenticity feels important. Integrity feels important to this group. Through this authenticity, you may start to slide into this King of Swords energy quite naturally, group 3. And it could be that you have your own behavior shift by making room for yourself or creative pursuits, which causes others to respond to you differently. And in the future, you find yourself easing into the shift where work is a bit easier. You spend more time deciding where to focus your attention instead of juggling every single offer, every little thing that is thrown your way. Saying no. Maintaining boundaries. And not feeling so dragged into things, I think. Sometimes we think of maintaining boundaries as a struggle, and that can be hard at first, but also there's just something about a perspective shift here where things are just going to feel a lot lighter, even if people are throwing a lot at you. You're going to be able to say no, I think, with grace and dignity, and just let that go then, as opposed to worrying, what will this person think if I do say no, or I do turn this down? So regardless of how this comes about, getting into this space, your future higher self is letting you know that things will ease up with time and that this burnout period is going to pass. This will pass. Just remember that you can lay some of these burdens down through embracing yourself, through accepting yourself, by putting down any masks, any facades, wherein, if possible, to allow your natural being to shine in all its glory. Ooh, I want to see what else is happening. I'm excited. So we're going to now look at hobbies and fun, creativity, that kind of thing. And, ooh, we have the High Priestess in reverse. And the Wheel of Fortune. So 2 major arcana here. That makes a really interesting picture, doesn't it? Pull this down a little. The communication here reinforces this idea of you being rather intuitive yourself. So again, this can imply the gift of mediumship for some of you, Bardo in this, and I am getting creativity again for many of you. So writing, making art, playing an instrument, being a chef. Much of this expression is tied into this very open crown chakra right here. And again, the other chakras mentioned, the third eye for our visual friends, and we could even pull in possibly the throat chakra for communication and receptive language as well. And this is all grounded into that sacral chakra. A little orangey. So what's interesting here, with the High Priestess in reverse, that's indicating a kind of block to me. And it's like you're either pouring your creative energy into other people and what you think they may want, or what you feel you are at the mercy of with others, in terms of your fun, your hobbies, your time, your creative expression. Just like, I don't have enough time. There's so many things I have to do. This person's asking me to do this, this, and this. You know, and notice how this channel is emptying into the Wheel of Fortune. And I almost see it hitting the wheel as the wheel's turning. And this energy is just flowing willy-nilly, and it's escaping. It's going all over the place. Its purest essence is being diluted. And while this expression of your soul and energy is part of your journey, it's meant to be shared with others. It's the expression of this energy and its final product that's meant to be shared, not your true essence and energy. That only results in a burnout that we would see here with the Ten of Wands. I think you're meant to channel this energy into something that your soul wants and needs to express, not just to give it away. Don't just give away what's coming through in your purest form. I think you're being reminded here, group 2, that this energy is yours. And the key to flipping the High Priestess up into an upright position is that. You know, what does your soul want to give birth to? What does it want to create? Your future higher self is reminding you that it's okay to create for the sake of creation, but don't create because you think it's what somebody else wants. You know, turn the lens and focus on your own wants and desires instead of having an external view. That's what it takes to master the wheel. You know, what goes up must come down, and when we feel that we are burned out or at the bottom of this wheel, kind of being ground down under it, we have to remember to center our energies and allow the flow to move through us. And remember, when we stop fighting, things will inevitably return to a natural homeostasis. We will move to the top again. We will reclaim our energies again. And suddenly you may find that you have more time again. You may have a fire again, and your passion is going to be completely uncorked. Creative flow. Okay. That's what I'm getting for that. I want to talk about love and relationships next. Okay, another major arcana, the Moon. And the Eight of Pentacles. Look at that face. That kind of looks like my pit bull when he's happy. The otter. Okay. So, in terms of love and relationships, the Moon card here is giving me a sense of isolation, perhaps feeling a bit cut off from others right now, or there may be some fears and concerns about how other people see you, and you may even be holding yourself back a little bit from putting yourself out there. And perhaps it's been a while since you felt a legitimate connection between you and other people, or a romantic connection. And this could be for many different reasons. For some, this may actually represent a physical change, a separation, a distance, or a choice to isolate. And for others, this is in part inside your head. And for some, it's going to be a mixture of the two. I do feel like the otter on the Eight of Pentacles represents the true you, the truth, your essence. You know, someone who's playful and funny and childlike at their core, or perhaps someone who's working to get from this Moon energy back into this natural state, because the Eight of Pentacles does indicate a period of growth. It's happy work, though. And this can go back to what we've been speaking of, the work and, you know, career and hobbies and the fun sectors of your life. You know, getting back into alignment with yourself. And as you express yourself more authentically, you naturally find your way back here. You won't feel the separation as much. There's not as much of a duality, a divide. and you're better able to see a connection between you and the rest of the world and others in it. I also see that as you align into this, you are going to attract people who are more like this as well. Like attracts like. Happy people, authentic people, folks who have a similar vision, people you'd want to have solid connections and friendships with. The more you develop yourself, the more things will shift for you, and the more opportunities that you're going to be presented with. And you may find yourself meeting some wonderful new people. And for some of you, I am getting a feeling of travel associated with this. So some of these friendships may be, not in your immediate vicinity. Okay. What else do we have going on here? We're going to look at spirituality and personal growth. Death, rebirth. Gosh, haven't we been talking about masks? That could not be more perfect. Come back. And the sun. Transparency. Wow, okay. Yeah, so this says it all. Your future higher self is showing a change in you and how you present to the world, which results in this sun kind of feeling. The Bardo card that represents your future higher self, again, was giving me that same kind of transparency vibe that the sun offers. We talked about that before. I was feeling that parallel back at the beginning of the reading, and this just confirms it for me. By demasking and embracing who you are, allowing these unique qualities and characteristics you may possess, even if they feel like flaws or they feel polarizing, they are still a part of you, and that's what makes you shine. Your future higher self is stressing the self-acceptance and self-celebration as part of this rebirth and glow-up. The thing that's making the biggest difference and bridging the gap from more stuck and burned out energies to the sun energy of joy and love and transparency, to that connection that you feel with others and relationships, to the playfulness that you feel at your core, to the ease of the eagle's eye view from which you make decisions in the future. This is the heart of everything. Personal growth is tied directly into this energy of self-acceptance and self-celebration. It's the initial push of the first domino from which all other dominoes cascade and fall. I'm being made to understand that for many of you, if you work half as hard as you do in your work at self-acceptance, you will make twice the gains in half the time. Yeah, this feels pretty simple to me, so we're going to jump into our next section, which is interpersonal communication and how you shine outwardly to the world, how you present to others, how they see you. So we have the Two of Swords in reverse. I'm going to move this guy over here. And the Page of Cups. Okie dokie. So the way that you, Group 3, currently present to the world, to others, is being a bit tied up right now. You present as being busy, I think busy with work, busy with your own thoughts, being a little more self-focused. And judging by the energies coming through here, this may very well be the case. You may be juggling quite a bit at the moment. And your future higher self is letting you know this is just part and parcel of where things are right now. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but I'm being drawn back to this Wheel of Fortune card that we talked about. We're all on this wheel in different places at different times, and there's no need to worry too much about it or to judge it, because things are going to be smoother, and I want to say less tangled up in the future. It almost feels like what's going on here is a period of hypersensitivity in regards to this energy. See how we're all tied up here with the birds? These can be thoughts. They could represent people. And it's like someone could just twinge this a little bit, pull your focus for just a second, and it drives all your energy and attention into that one interaction, that one word, that one look, that one person, when it may not actually have that same intensity behind it, that same meaning from the other individual who's on the pulling end. It's all about interpretation. So the beautiful thing is, as you're moving through these other energies of, you know, personal growth and change, you're going to be feeling more free in many aspects of your life. You're going to have a lot more room to move and, dare I say, be more forgiving of yourself and your reactions. For those of you who judge yourself for how you've reacted in the past, or, you know, do react in certain situations, there's more of an awareness. Not only are you going to be swimming in this new freedom, enjoying your freedom of movement, you're going to find that others are approaching you more readily, I think, as they sense your openness going forward. There's reassurance again that this tangled up energy is just where you might be at the moment. And if this doesn't resonate, again, take what does, leave the rest, or perhaps check out another pile's, you know, information in this particular sector. But I feel like this will land with most of you. Things are going to be evolving with you, group 3. They really are. So less tangled, more flowing. All right, let's look at manifesting. I feel like this is a big thing for you guys. Yeah, so Chariot in reverse, that says a lot. Another major. And oh my gosh, the Ten of Cups upright. Beautiful. Very, very nice. So yeah, we were talking about your sacral chakra before. It's very magnetic, group 3. And I think you have more manifesting abilities than some of you are giving yourself credit for. And it could be, again, because your High Priestess vibe is kind of blocked right now. The Chariot to me is a card of mastery. Mastery, like duality. I think of it sometimes like we have the black and the white horse. I think of like 2 hemispheres of your brain. Not fighting each other, but working in tandem, working in conjunction. You know, 2 halves that were once separate, and they come together to form a beautifully functioning whole. And in this instance, we've got more of a division between your current you and the you that manifests your heart's desires. So this does indicate, again, a block with some of your manifesting, and I think that is reinforced by our High Priestess in reverse there. Either you don't see yourself as someone who can manifest, or you don't feel a connection to that part of yourself, but your future higher self is definitely indicating otherwise. The energy here is definitely indicating otherwise. You are someone who's very colorful, very magical, very bright. You are tripping yourself up here. It is possible to step into this energy with a little release, and I think some elbow grease as well. You know, and a lot of this has to do with attitude and exposure for many of you. For others, it may be that you're getting in your own way, and by following some of the advice we've been discussing from your future higher self, things are going to start to flow more naturally, and I think this Chariot is going to pop up in the upright position, you know, where you can manifest hopes and dreams and wishes rather quickly and skillfully, you know, the way that the King of Swords can make decisions, you know, just decisions from very lofty heights. It's just a matter of perspective, you know, and the Ten of Cups here is showing potentials and showing possibilities for you. Also, if you are spinning your wheels in the hobby sector, like as we talked about here with the High Priestess, that fun sector, the creative sector, it may make it a bit more challenging to manifest at the moment. You know, it's a matter of redirecting that flow of energy that we talked about into your wishes and desires and the best expression of you, instead of sending it out, scattering into the universe for everybody else's, you know, use at their beck and call. And I feel that as you start to work on these other areas, you're going to notice more of your natural ability for manifesting start to blossom. Group 3, again, this future higher self of yours is really close. It's just almost under the surface of the skin and ready to burst forth. And this isn't a distant future, but it's one that's so much closer than you anticipate. I'm super excited for you, and I'd love to hear all about this. So that is your message, group 3. I would love to know what it is that's going on with you. If you're comfortable, let us know you're part of the group 3 crew. Why don't you post your favorite hobby emoji in the comment box below? Maybe you've got more than one. We'd love to hear more about what your journey is and what's resonating for you here. So if you felt this video was entertaining or beneficial, please give it a thumbs up and share with any family or friends who you may feel would benefit from this. And as always, thank you for being here with us today. And I hold you with gratitude and love, Group 3. It was so nice to see you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends.